Good morning, cadets. Yesterday we have solved a problem on conversion of a moving coil galvanometer into a voltmeter. A moving coil galvanometer or any sensitive galvanometer is just a current detecting device. It cannot measure the current, right? So it can be converted into voltmeter by connecting a high resistance in series, so that the total resistance of the voltmeter will be very high, which is given by G plus RS, where G is the resistance of galvanometer and RS is the resistance of the series resistance which is connected in the high resistance which is connected in series with galvanometer. So that's how we calculated, and then we calculated the voltage, how a given galvanometer can be converted into a voltmeter of required range. Now today let us learn about conversion of a galvanometer into a ammeter. You know, an ammeter is a device which is used to measure the current. It's a current measuring device, and remember, this ammeter is always connected in series in the circuit, so that the entire current in the circuit must pass through the ammeter and it should be able to read the current that is flowing through the circuit. So the ammeter should have minimum resistance so that it can allow the complete current through the device, through the meter, right? Now conversion of galvanometer into an ammeter. So symbolically, galvanometer is represented by G like this, where G is the resistance of the galvanometer, and this is how it will be having its two terminals. Now the galvanometer should have the ammeter, that's what we are going to have it. The modified galvanometer, which we are going to call it as ammeter, should have minimum resistance. Therefore, it is connected with a low resistance in parallel. The low resistance connected in parallel is called as shunt. By connecting a low resistance, it is called as shunt in parallel to the galvanometer. It is converted into an ammeter. Let us see how it can be converted into an ammeter of required range. So this entire device is now called as ammeter. If total current that is flowing through the circuit is I, suppose I is the total current flowing through the circuit, and this ammeter should be able to read this entire current I, then the current through the galvanometer is limited current, which we call it as Ig, because galvanometer has a limitation. It doesn't allow, it cannot respond to more current, therefore it has a limited current Ig. So Ig is the small current that is allowed by galvanometer. Remaining current I minus Ig must flow through the shunt resistance. The shunt resistance, which is connected in parallel, is a very low resistance. So a low resistance connected in parallel is called as shunt. I have written here. A low resistance connected in parallel with galvanometer is called as shunt resistance. So again, when you look at this other terminal, the total current is going to be I. Ig plus I minus Ig cancels. The total current is going to be I, right? Now, how to convert a galvanometer which can read full scale deflection for small current Ig to be converted into an emitter which should read the full scale deflection for the total current I. That is our task. When a current when a low resistance S is connected in parallel, let us calculate the potential difference. When we calculate the potential difference, then we will be able to calculate the current I. When you look at this terminal, IgG is equal to I minus Ig into S. Potential difference across the terminals ends of this galvanometer remains the same because low resistance is connected in parallel. So the potential difference across these two terminals is IgG. IgG should be equal to the potential difference across this, because this is connected in parallel, I minus Ig into S, where G and S are the resistances. G is the resistance of the galvanometer and S is the low resistance connected in parallel. Now, to calculate this, we can now rearrange the terms. Therefore, IgG is equal to Is minus Igs. Therefore, you can just write Is is equal to Igg plus Igs. Is is equal to Igg plus Igs. Therefore, I is equal to Ig into bracket G plus S divided by S. That is nothing but Ig into bracket G plus S divided by S. So that's how a galvanometer can be converted into an emitter which can show full scale deflection to a maximum current I by connecting a low resistance in parallel, so that total current I becomes equal to Ig into G plus S upon S. Let us see the numerical problem. This is the main equation, guiding equation. Question will be usually asked that a galvanometer which can read full scale deflection for small current Ig, how can it be converted into an emitter which can show full scale deflection for a given maximum current I? So one has to find out the value of shunt resistance. So I have to find out S value. Therefore, S becomes equal to Igg divided by I minus Ig. So suitably by suitable choice of a particular low resistance and connecting across the galvanometer, parallel to galvanometer, one can convert a galvanometer into an emitter of required range which can read from 0 to I. So I can write yes, therefore by using suitable low resistance, yes, and connecting parallel to G, the galvanometer can be converted into an emitter which can read zero to I range of current, 0 to I range of current. So meaning of this you will understand by solving one simple problem. Okay. Let us solve one problem on ammeter. How to choose a low resistance S to be connected in parallel. You can see here a galvanometer coil. This is the problem. A galvanometer coil has a resistance of 15 ohm and the meter shows full scale deflection for a current of 4 milliamperes. So resistance of the galvanometer is given. G is equal to 15 ohm and the current through the galvanometer for which it shows full scale deflection is given. Ig is equal to 4 milliamperes. 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 amperes. How will you convert this meter into an ammeter which can show a range of 0 to 6 amperes? So it should show full scale deflection for total current of 6 amperes. So total current I is 6 amperes. Ig is given 4 milliamperes. G value is given. Then how will you convert it into an ammeter? So you must find out the value of S. We know from the theory just now we have understood. By connecting a low resistance S, suitable low resistance S, parallel to the galvanometer, one can convert it into an ammeter of required range. Here the range is 0 to 6 amperes. So what must be the value of S? That we have to find out. So as we have just now found out, IgG is equal to I minus Ig into S. So it's very simple. Therefore, S value is equal to IgG divided by I minus Ig. That's it. I minus Ig. Just substitute the values. So we get 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by 6. 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 into G value is 15 ohm. 15 ohm. I minus Ig. I value is 6 amperes. 6 minus Ig, 4 milliamperes. So I will write that 0.004 amperes. 4 milliampere can be written as 0.004 amperes. Right? So this becomes, in the numerator, you can see it is 60 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by. So this becomes 5.996. 996. 5.996. 6 minus this one, 5.996. If you take it almost 6, then it becomes 6 ones are 6 tens are. So 10 into 10 raised to minus 3. So it becomes 10 raised to minus 2 amperes. 6 ones are 6 tens are. Therefore, 10 raised to minus 2 amperes is nothing but 0.01 ohm. It's not ampere, it is resistance. So resistance is measured in ohm. So 10 raised to minus 2 ohm is nothing but 0.01 ohm. So this is the value of S. So by choosing suitable color coded resistor of 0.01 ohm and connecting it parallel to the galvanometer, it can be converted into an ammeter which can read full scale deflection for 6 amperes by proper calibration of the scale. Therefore, by connecting 0.01 ohm parallel to galvanometer, it can be converted into an ammeter of 0 to 6 amperes. Okay, this is how one can solve the numerical problems. Now look at this. One more thing that you need to remember: by connecting low resistance, what is the effective resistance of the galvanometer? Both are in parallel. The effective resistance of the total device is less than the least because they are in parallel. So the total resistance will be less than the shunt resistance. So effective resistance, if you calculate, effective resistance, it becomes Gs upon G plus S. Gs upon G plus S, because they are in parallel. So G is in this case 15 and S is 0.01 divided by 15.01. 15.01, you can see now. So it becomes 0.15 divided by 15.01. So it becomes very low resistance. Very low resistance. 15 upon 100. So that becomes almost 15 upon 1500. Almost 15 upon 1500. So it is less than 0.01. That's how ammeter will be able to take the entire current from the circuit. So this is regarding ammeter. In the previous video we have learned about voltmeter. What is the effective resistance of a voltmeter? Effective resistance of a voltmeter or voltmeter. Effective resistance is R effective is equal to, it's simple, G plus RS. So it's, if RS is of several thousand volts, several kilo ohms, then total resistance of the voltmeter will be very high. Total resistance of the voltmeter is of the order of several kilo ohms. Therefore, voltmeter, when it is connected in parallel, it draws a minimum amount of current and shows the deflection to give you the potential difference. Whereas, when ammeter is connected in series, being low resistance, lowest effective resistance, ammeter having the lowest effective resistance, it will draw the complete current so that it can measure the complete current of the given range. Okay, this is the difference between voltmeter and ammeter. Okay. Now let us discuss something about sensitivity of a galvanometer. Okay. Let us discuss about the sensitivity of a galvanometer. Galvanometer is a very sensitive device, okay, which is used to detect the current, as we know. So it has got two sensitivities. One is current sensitivity as well as another one voltage sensitivity, right? So first of all, let us write the equation for deflection produced in the galvanometer. We know that deflection produced in the galvanometer is directly proportional to the strength of the current. Deflection, where phi is the deflection, angle of deflection, it is actually the pointer deflection. The pointer deflection is measured in terms of angle. So the pointer gets deflected more and more if the strength of the current is more, and the pointer deflection will be less if the strength of the current is less. So when we take out this proportionality sign, we get phi is equal to N B A upon K into I, where the proportionality constant becomes N B A upon K, where B is the magnetic field strength, N is the number of turns, A is the area of the coil, and K is the torsion constant of the wire, where you can write N is number of turns of magnetic field. A is area of the coil. K is torsional constant. Torsional constant of the wire which suspends the coil in the strong magnetic field. Okay. So phi is directly proportional to I. So when you take out this proportionality sign, we get NBAI upon K. So this is the derivation for deflection produced in the galvanometer. Now let us discuss what is current sensitivity. Current sensitivity is ratio of amount of deflection per unit current. If you take the ratio of pi by I, this gives us current sensitivity, that is equal to NBA upon K. So you can just define what is current sensitivity. The amount of deflection per unit current is called current sensitivity. Right? Now current sensitivity, you can see from this equation, depends on the number of turns. Larger the number of turns, more the number of turns, more is the sensitivity, more is the current sensitivity. And B is the strength of magnetic field. Larger the strength of the magnetic field, more is the current sensitivity. And A is the area. Larger the area of the coil, larger the magnitude of area of the coil, more is the current sensitivity. And K, torsional constant. The suspension wire or the spring to which the coil is attached, it should have very low value of constant. Torsional constant should be as less as possible. So I is, I can write mathematically, phi by I, current sensitivity is directly proportional to N. Current sensitivity is directly proportional to V. Current sensitivity is directly proportional to A, and it is inversely proportional to K. Torsional constant means the suspension wire should be very, very sensitive. Then current sensitivity will be very high. Okay. Out of this is very, very important, because magnetic field is fixed, area of the coil is fixed, K is fixed for a given suspension wire. Only variable will be number of turns. More the number of turns, more will be the current sensitivity. Okay. This is how we study current sensitivity. Now let us learn what is voltage sensitivity. From the same equation, we can get the voltage sensitivity by dividing resistance on both sides. If we divide resistance on both sides to this equation of current sensitivity, phi by Ri is equal to NBA upon Rk, where R is the resistance of the coil. So I am writing here if R is the resistance of the coil having N turns, coil of N turns, then dividing both sides by R, we get phi by Ri. Dividing both sides means left hand side as well as right hand side. Phi by Ri is equal to NBA upon Rk. Therefore, what is phi by Ri? Ri using Ohm's law, product of resistance and current. IR product is nothing but voltage. Therefore, phi by V, that is what we called as amount of deflection per unit voltage, per unit potential difference. Phi by V is equal to NVA upon RK. This is how we define voltage sensitivity. Then voltage sensitivity, I will write directly. Amount of deflection per unit potential difference or per unit voltage potential difference, I will write PD short form, or voltage per unit voltage, that is per unit voltage means per volt amount of deflection per volt is called voltage sensitivity. Voltage sensitivity. Now look at these interesting equations. One is current sensitivity phi by I, another one is voltage sensitivity phi by V. Here NVA upon K is common, NVA upon K is common, right? Now we have studied what are the factors on which the current sensitivity depends. Now in the same way, the factors on which voltage sensitivity depends, again we can say it is directly proportional to N, but at the same time it is inversely proportional to R. That is very important. Voltage sensitivity phi by V is inversely proportional to resistance R, where R is the resistance of the coil. So one can think, if we increase number of turns of the coil, definitely current sensitivity increases. If it is, say, number of turns are doubled, N becomes 2N, then current sensitivity becomes twice. Sensitivity doubles, current sensitivity doubles. But what happens to voltage sensitivity? If N is doubled, the number of turns of the coil is doubled, then its effective length will be doubled. If the effective length of the wire is doubled, resistance is also doubled. So voltage sensitivity is unaffected. This is very important. So voltage sensitivity is nothing to do with number of turns. So voltage sensitivity can be improved by improving the strength of the magnetic field, increasing the strength of the magnetic field, increasing the magnitude of area, and reducing the torsional current. We have to use that suspension wire of very sensitive low value of torsional constant. Then we will have high value of voltage sensitivity. So important thing to remember, if the number of turns is increased, current sensitivity increases, but voltage sensitivity is unaffected because the same ratio resistance also increases. Voltage sensitivity is unaffected. You can just see here, if N is increased to 2N, then phi by I is, you can just take it as dash, phi by I dash. This is new current sensitivity, it becomes 2 times phi by I. Current sensitivity increases, but what happens to phi by V? Phi by V, you see, 2N divided NVA upon 2RK. So 2 cancels. So voltage sensitivity is unaffected. So this is important thing to be remembered. So by increasing number of turns, only current sensitivity only current sensitivity increases, but voltage sensitivity remains unaffected. Okay, these are the points regarding sensitivity of a galvanometer, current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity. Thank you. Have a nice day.